$1.1 trillion was wiped from the stock market yesterday. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. Today it is Saturday, but I quickly wanted to recap what exactly happened and how things can either get better or worse. So $1.1 trillion was wiped from the US stock market. And again, a lot of this had to do to the uncertainty of first what started with the job reports. As many of you guys saw, let me pull this up right now. Trump says that job numbers, which show the biggest drop since COVID, were faked by Biden's appointee, Erica. And he ordered her, the commissioner of the labor statistic, to be fired immediately. This is the part that just is so insane. Trump wants to take credit for everything that is good about the economy and the stock market. But if any economic data supports the case that it is not up to par, which everyone knows, right? There's been multiple statistics and data reports that have showed that students coming out of college, out of a 4-year university, are struggling to get jobs. So this job report coming in way lower than what is expected doesn't really come at much of a surprise, right? The stock market is not a representation of how the average American is doing by any means, right? I mean, less than 60%, if I'm not mistaken, or 60% of Americans are actually invested in the stock market, but literally only the top 10% of Americans own about 80% of the overall stock market. So there's a huge disconnect there, right? That being said, based off of when the job reports came out, markets did initially sell off. As we can see on QQQ, which is the NASDAQ ETF, just in the past 2 trading days, from highs of 576, almost 577, we have seen a retracement of about 4%, which is pretty significant for QQQ, for the NASDAQ, right? The thing that I want you to remember is that markets have been recovering for literally no reason. August 1st, which was yesterday, was the official deadline of the tariff pause, where Trump actually went out and almost with every trade partner started handing out tariffs like it was Oprah Winfrey handing out cars. The market has made nearly not only a full recovery from previous all-time highs, but has made new all-time highs with the same issues it had over 3 to 4 months ago. So once the markets were downturning, we still have the same problems. A lot of trade deals are still not signed, yet the market is somewhat immune to these tariffs as of right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this ends up blowing up in Trump's face based off of what he was projecting the market to actually be in versus what it is actually experiencing. And what I mean by that is, it seems like we're now only going through more and more issues because of what actually was stated yesterday. The thing that acted as a further negative catalyst was that Trump said he's pretty much ready for nuclear war. So based on a highly proactive statement of the former president of Russia, who is now the deputy chairman of Security Council of the Russian Federation, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in appropriate regions, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, I completely agree with this. We should always be prepared. Now, this is something that I think that if something is said, especially from someone as powerful as Russia, it should be taken seriously. But this is where Trump can be viewed as a hypocrite because all he does is yap, talk, and back out. That is all he's literally done with every country and with every Fed official that doesn't agree with him. So I do agree that, yes, words are very important. And just the way that you want to be respected, you should respect others. But again, this is where the hypocrite statement comes in. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you think. Remember, Trump is not above the law. He's not above anyone else. He should be treating everyone just as he would like to be treated. It's kind of like common sense, right? Following that, so I was just informed that our country's job numbers, this is in reaction to the job numbers, are being produced by the Biden appointee, Erica, and the commissioner of the labor statistic who faked the job numbers before the election to just try to boost Kamala's chances of victory, then goes into a full-on rant how did this work out? And then has to throw Jerome Powell, too late Powell, but also put out of pasture. Again, thank you for your attention to this matter. This is the part where like one moment Trump puts on his serious cap and says, hey, words are very important. You need to be very careful with what you said. And then he goes on rants like this, which again, in my opinion, just completely cheapen the presidency. How can you ask to be respected by using your formal words, but then go on Twitter and speak like this or on Truth Social? I think there's a huge disconnect there because of the way that he carries himself. It's not surprising to me that other countries take him less serious. Now, again, when it comes down to making any form of statement of a nuclear threat, that's definitely not something to take lightly. So I think the reaction of putting appropriate submarines in regions just shows how serious we do take those words. But I hope that, again, there's some form of self-reflection of like, hey, maybe it's the way that you continue to speak about either other countries and about your own political figures in your own country that encourage other countries to also maybe not speak as highly about you and the country that you represent. Just my 2 cents. But again, $1.1 trillion has been wiped. In my opinion, I'm not convinced that this is a full break of pattern for the overall market. And the reason why is because of how incredibly bullish the market has been. Looking at how irrational it's been as well, we still do have Nvidia that is set to report earnings. I really do hope that we see a little bit more of a downturn as I think markets need it because markets have been recovering and pushing to new highs for no reason. But we'll see. We'll see if they actually end up following through with that type of recovery on Monday at market open. I'm really excited to see what ends up presenting itself and the series of economic reports that are set to be released as well. We do plan to live stream right at market open for our live session. And if you want to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below. I appreciate your time. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you think. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.